Hello everyone, and in today's video let's take a look at Hohem Isteady Pro 4, which is a splash-proof 3-axis stabilizer for your action camera. So this gimbal gonna be compatible with all sorts of GoPro action cameras, starting from GoPro Hero 10 Black and going down to Hero 3 Black. But apart from that, if you have any other action cameras, such as for example Dji Osmo Action, Insta360 One R, it's gonna be compatible as well. And according to the information on the package, this gimbal can offer you a 12-hour of battery life and can be also used as a power bank. Alright, so without further ado, let's take a look what's inside the package. Alright guys, so this is exactly what we have inside of this package, and as you can see, it's a 3-axis camera stabilizer with a very small tripod and some cables. So this is how Isteady Pro 4 looks like, and as you can see, it's a really solid piece of gear. And the beauty of this product is that this gimbal is compatible with all GoPro action cameras, and all of this is possible thanks to that quick release mounting design. Now, if I remove that quick release from its place, take a look how easy it is. I can basically put any GoPro camera that I have. So as you just seen, the whole installation process isn't that complicated. In fact, it's quite fast and easy. It just literally took me a couple of seconds to do it, and the best part about it is that there are no screws that you have to deal with to mount your camera to the gimbal. And what's great about it is that there's no calibration required, so you don't have to balance your camera before you can start using that gimbal. The only moment when you want to calibrate that gimbal is that when you see some abnormal behavior. Now, if you take a closer look at the middle of the handle, we can find a control panel. So we can find in here a joystick, a mode button to change between the modes of our gimbal, and a shutter button to stop and start the recording. And lastly, we have the slider button, so we can manually adjust our horizon leveling by fine-tuning our roll axis. On the side of the handle, we can find 4 LED slides. Now, if I press on the shutter button once, it's gonna tell me how much of the battery juice I still have. Each individual light gonna stand for 25% of the charge. Now, when you press on the mode button on the control panel, you're gonna switch between 4 different modes. Every mode gonna change the way that the gimbal gonna react to your actions. So our first mode by default gonna be pan and follow, when you can move your camera either from left to right or right to left, and all other axes gonna be locked. If we press on the mode button again, we're gonna enter PTF mode. That's gonna allow us to move our camera in a pan and tilt axis. So in other words, we can move our camera from left to right or up and down. Now, if we press on the mode button again, we're gonna enter L mode, which means that every axis is gonna be locked. So no matter how much you move that gimbal, it's gonna try to keep exactly the same camera orientation. And when you click that mode button for the 4th time, you're gonna enter POV mode. Now, I don't necessarily know what this mode can be useful for, but if you hold your gimbal like a simple flashlight, you can enter Inception mode. think, guys, that this Inception Mode is simply one of my favorite features about this gimbal, because having that ability to twist your camera like 600 degrees, I think it's awesome, and you can use it for time warp or simple video. Now, on the other side of the handle, we have a trigger button. So if you press and hold it, your gimbal gonna be more responsive to the action. So it's gonna be more aggressive and react faster. If we double press on the trigger button, your gimbal gonna reset and your camera gonna return quickly to its original orientation. Now, let me tell you about my favorite feature of this gimbal, which is motion time-lapse. So normally when you record a time-lapse video with your GoPro, your camera is mounted on a tripod, not moving, perfectly still, recording just one scene, yes? And with this gimbal, when you use a motion time-lapse feature, you can actually move your camera from left to right to left, whatever, and it's simply great. If you want to do a motion time-lapse with this gimbal, all you have to do is go to the control panel within the app, so let's click on that. Now let's go to the motion lapse. And let's set up a starting point for our camera. So let's say it's gonna be somewhere around here. Now let's click on the plus icon and let's set up a finishing point. So somewhere on the other side. Okay, let's click on the plus icon once again and let's click on the next. Now we need to decide how long our time lapse gonna last. So let's say that's gonna be 30 minutes. So let's begin. So now our gimbal is in motion time-lapse mode, so that's gonna go from one place to another within 30 minutes. At the bottom of this gimbal, we have a 1/4 tripod adapter, so you can use it with a tripod that this gimbal originally came with, or you can mount it to a much bigger tripod. Now, let's take a closer look at the joystick that's on the control panel. So with a joystick like this, you can move your camera either to the left or to the right, or if you so desire, you can also tilt your camera up or down. Okay, but why do we even need a gimbal if hypersmooth stabilization from GoPro is that good? Well, whenever you use electronic image stabilization, which is hypersmooth, you crop in on that image. So you kinda lose a little bit of that resolution that you're recording. And on top of that, if you use linear and horizon leveling or boost stabilization with your GoPro, you lose even more resolution. I believe with boost, that's gonna be around 22% of your image. And what's more, the horizon leveling feature is only available in linear field of view. So whenever you want to record with your GoPro in wide field of view, you're kind of limited because of that. And with gimbal, you don't have such a problem. Also, whenever you record a video in low light scenario, Hypersmooth kind of struggles to give you a perfectly stable video because it simply requires to have a crystally clear images to simply put them together, thus as a result give you a stable video. Alright, and now let's take a look at how stable your footage can be using that gimbal. So as you just seen, when you use a gimbal, your video looks battery smooth, cinematic and professional. However, I need to tell you something. When I was recording the test shots for this project, I was recording with gimbal stabilization and basic hypersmooth. And the reason behind it is that when I was recording my video without the hypersmooth, I still could see some jumps and shakes in my footage. So without it, your video is not gonna be rock steady. So if you want to have the best looking results, you need to combine Hypersmooth with the gimbal stabilization. I just really regret that you have to do so, but if you want to have the best looking results, this is what you have to do. Isteady 4 Pro has 3600 mAh battery and it can offer you 14 hours of battery life. And if you take a closer look on the side of it, you'll notice that there is a USB port. So you can simply connect it to your GoPro and use this gimbal as a power bank to charge your camera. So in other words, you're not gonna need extra batteries throughout the day. They also provide a bunch of small charging cables that are gonna be compatible with every GoPro that you have. So in theory, you can take this cable and plug it into the gimbal, just like that. However, I found that in the GoPro Hero 10 Black, this cable is not gonna work because the power outlet is on the other side. So if you have GoPro Hero 5, 6 or 7, you're probably gonna be able to charge your camera with it throughout the whole day. I just wish that this charging cable would be long enough to just get to that USB-C charging port on the other side of the GoPro Hero 10 Black. It's just simply not long enough to get in there. Alright guys, so what do you think about Hohem Isteady 4 Pro? I honestly think that having that motion time-lapse feature, for me, it's a game changer and I simply love that feature. So what do you think about it? Let me know about it in the comment section below, and if you have any particular question about GoPro Hero 10 Black or Hohem Isteady 4 Pro, don't hesitate and simply ask. Alright guys, so for today's video, that's it. I hope that you liked it and you enjoyed it and you learned something from it. And if you did, then as always guys, give me a thumb up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't before, smash the notification button so you don't miss on my future content, and see you guys in the next one. Bye!